Hey, good morning, guys. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. If you give me a quick sound check, please, that would be great. Then we can get cracking on. Awesome. Nice one. Well, good to see you, team. It was a bit of an early one. Half the people probably haven't remembered I was on this morning, so that's fine. So, today, big day, CPI day for the US. It's the one that we've been waiting for all week. The one that I also preempted and thought was yesterday out of my eager anticipation for some decent price action. So we're basically going to be getting ourselves ready to go on that front. I will be on for the live event, even though it says 1:30. I'll be on at about 20 past, so that we can look at setting ourselves up for the event this afternoon, because we'll be trading it live. Hopefully, with the aim of being able to get a decent return. So we'll go through, have a little bit of a recap on what's going on with the fund so far. We've got a lot of things waiting to trigger that have triggered. We've incurred some losses that we need to cover off and get cleared away. This USD CAD is going really, really well so far. Really happy with this one. We've just got a nice breakout of liquidity. I will be expecting this one to come back down to retest that 137.20 area before continuing to the upside. Not to say that it has to, but this is a pretty decent inflection point here, as you can see on this current wave. So to get a retest of this would be probably advisable before we get going, before the target is achieved at 137.50, or so we hope. We can't get too carried away though yet. If it's anything that I've definitely been slapped around with over the last couple of months, it's that a pretty significant number of our positions can come so close. For example, if that's the TB, we travel up to an area like this and then bang, straight the way down to stop loss. And we've seen this, so it's really not over until it's over. But so far, so good. So let's go from the top then. First of all, UK Brent, we never got a trigger on that one. Yesterday, it did collapse through the floor, came down, hit this area. If this was clear trading margin, it would have actually been a really nice couple of setups. Perfect breaker structure on both sides of this. I mean, look at the entry on that one. Right, it was really quite clean. And then we got that really nice push back up to liquidity at 77.20. But this is inside a big daily level, and so it's just, there was good reason not to be participating whilst inside this area of the market. This pending order still stands. Okay, so still waiting for this one. I still think it's good and it has legs. So there's nothing to be done about that one at this stage. Looking at gold, gold's relatively the same. We did get that push through this area, so we can now remove it, as it will not have much significance to the market anymore. Unfortunately though, guys, we didn't actually push into liquidity yesterday. So we came down to this low here. This is at sort of 3:30 in the afternoon. And I was watching this one because I wanted to give you guys the heads up. Obviously, if it hits this area, then we could look at taking the long back up to the high. But we actually missed it by a real tiny amount. We came down even slightly lower at around 7:30 in the evening, and it missed it again. And is now currently trading, as you can see, at 26.14. But yeah, it's kind of nowhere. It's a rock and a hard place at the moment in gold. So as I said yesterday, we still want the push into liquidity before we can get that push back out. Okay, so that's what we want, and then we can take the long back up to around 26.22. The pending order that sits between these 2 points is still live and still active. Okay, so nothing that we need to do about that one either in terms of management. Just remember that if the market does come down here, let's set up an alarm. If the market does break through here and then starts to reject and we get that counter trend break of structure, then we can get that push back up to around 26.22. So in other things, Aussie CAD at the moment, excuse me, Aussie CAD at the moment, it did get the break close in the retest here. It does look like it could potentially go further. Really nasty bit of price action around here though. We've only really had the run between this area, and this was just to break liquidity. Now we've got the BCR, which is good, but looking at where that margin is, we kind of need to see the market come back down, I would say, to 92.20. Then we can look at the push back up to 92.46. So I guess not too dissimilar from gold, really. Looking for the market to come back down, test out this area, and then push up, and we can look at taking a nice little intraday trade before the weekends here, with our TP and our stop loss, wherever that may be. Obviously, we don't know where that's going to be at the moment, but it'll look something like that, and that's what I'd be going for with that AC at this time. Above that area, we then have a pretty decent sort of path of least resistance, I guess, up to 92.75, which could possibly be the second half of this trade idea. So if we just have a look over here, okay, this zone is nowhere near perfect, but it's definitely an area of interest. And if you look at the margins between here and here, well, that's almost perfect, two perfect halves. So we're looking at the continuation from this point, and then you either have the opportunity to continue the trade, or take it in two halves. So you can split this right down the middle and get a 1 to 1.8 on one, and a 1 to 1.8 or 1.9 or whatever it is on the other. Nice. Yeah, good man, James. Yeah, good. I agree. I think that looks pretty decent. Okay, so Aussie yen. Yeah, Aussie yen at the moment just doesn't look good, to be fair. Trading up at around this area, it's been a struggle for it getting through this daily zone. We do have the breakout, we do have the retest. At the moment, the verdict is very far out on this one. So if we drag that one right the way across, this is where it currently is in its run. So still looking for those previous highs. Zone's going to be across the top of there, and that's the current setup. That's the current trade. Whoops. So do with that what you will. You've definitely not missed any opportunity on this one because of where it's trading at the moment. If anything, if we get the fresh breaker structure again of this area, you're probably going to be trading with even more confluence than the first breaker structure. So if you guys haven't taken that one yet, that is a possibility. Hopefully the margin isn't too large, that it's going to be open over the weekend, because just to make it absolutely clear, I don't want anything left open over the weekend. We are Monday to Friday traders. On a very rare occasion, I will leave something open over the weekend if we're, significantly in profit or something like that. But in this particular situation, we're taking a fresh trade on a Thursday. I really don't think it's going to be, hopefully this one gets completed, but I don't want to get into the habit of leaving a bunch of stuff open over the weekend. It's just too uncertain at the moment. Aussie NZD, nothing more to be said about that one, guys, so we'll just swiftly move on from that. Aussie dollar looking really quite rough down here at the moment. CAD Swiss, again, really in major levels of indecision and consolidation. Nothing I really want to get my teeth stuck into right now. The CAD against the yen, unfortunately, that did come up and hit the loss, so that one is now out of the market. I will not be having a second attempt of this one. Just too late in the week now, guys. With the Aussie yen as well, there's just no point for me, and I don't see the point of the increased level of exposure to the Japanese yen right now either. So we'll be moving on from that. Euro against the Oz. So this one was from yesterday. We actually covered off this one because yesterday that came up. It took us out in the afternoon. We actually have come back down again. We formed a bit of a, I can't say it's perfect, but we have formed a bit of a double bottom here. It'd be interesting to see what actually happens, because if we come down to 162, I gotta say it's not a bad idea to go long again, which we've already done in the past and worked out successfully. So if the Aussie yen, if the euro, does come down to 162, and we're still trading around there on Monday, then that's going to be a setup for next week. But I certainly won't be looking at taking any trades in this one. Intraday trades today. Euro yen. Don't forget, guys, as well. Tomorrow I'm away. I'm in the city tomorrow in a couple of meetings. So because of that, I'm treating today as the clearing day. I want to get the fund settled away. If there's a couple of things that are going to run throughout the day tomorrow that don't require much management, absolutely fine. But that is my thought process here, and it should be anyone's thought process if that's going to be the case with you. So Euro yen, obviously we had the first one, which came up, took us out. We had the second attempt here upon the breaker structure, and that never took place yesterday. We did have a little bit of a rally and came up to this high, dipped its toes into big daily liquidity up there, which is nice to see. That's a good thing. So still waiting for this one to come down and trigger. That's still in the market, and there's no reason for me to consider removing that one yet. Euro NZD. So this is another one. We were waiting for the breach of daily liquidity and then to get the drop down into target. Still waiting on that one triggering. It came bloody close, but not quite there yet. It did come right the way down. This was a really nice big sell-off and reversal from that daily level. But because of the high, it's now... what time was that? Sorry. That was 4 o'clock yesterday. Yeah, so, that's 0.7% lower within this trend. So it does make me wonder just how far it's going to fall. At this stage, the verdict is still out on this one. But that all being said, I am going to leave this in because we have seen evidence sometimes that this can really get moving, the Euro NZD, and things like this move can be achieved relatively quickly. So I am going to let it go for the time being. If it still hasn't triggered by this evening, let's say 4:30, 5 o'clock, even after the CPI event and everything, then I'm probably going to let it go and remove it, and I will give you guys a heads up on that one should I decide to go down that course of action. Looking at the GA at the moment, still heavily consolidated. Yeah, okay, there's a couple of intraday swings in here, but there's a lot of bottom feeding and not interested. Pound against the CAD. GC actually had a really bloody good move this morning from around 7:30. Unfortunately, it was straight through liquidity. The margins that we had here are very difficult to trade, and it was pretty crap. Unless you got a trade in at this area here, which was, I think, probably one of the most aggressive entries you could probably have pulled off without breaking rules, then you would have been looking at a trade idea that was, to be fair, you could have, that could have worked. There's a 1 to 1.8 there, to be honest, 1 to 1.9. So if we were absolutely perfect in hindsight trading, as we are right here, yes, okay, you probably could have made that work. I just don't know if I would have had a stop loss like that. A 1 to 1.8, 1 to 1.9 is fine. That's a 1 to 2, actually. Yeah, maybe I would. But don't forget that the entry had to have been absolutely flawless with that one. And hindsight trading's, it is what it is, isn't it? We're all absolutely perfect and flawless when we're hindsight trading. So I just don't think I would have done that. I don't think I could have done that. Anyway, looking ahead now to the future, GC got the BCR liquidity. Really nice big breakout. Really nice big price action pullback. We've got the new structural point for the breaker structure, which is going to be at the high of the move, which is there. So that's all been set up properly. And as we can see here, we have an absolutely superb breakout level for our target profit. So probably situated at around there. We do have one on the low side of that, but I'm just thinking about this point and this point with the rebound in the middle. It's very nice. And also, if we look at this current wave to the downside, look at the market's reaction when we hit this area. Retest, 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 retest. Then we get the sell-off and the continuation. So for me, looking ahead, this is going to be a really nice setup for us. So a pending order, and I'm happy putting this one in because I think this is probably realistically achievable. Pending order in the market, 179.72. That's the entry. Target profit at around 180.20. And the stop loss is going to be there, not in the middle of these two zones because that's too aggressive. I don't want to be too greedy here and give that the room to breathe. So that's going to be at 179.51-ish. Or even 179.50 to be honest, for a 1 to 2.3. That's looking like a really solid trade idea. It might end up falling into next week's basket. It could trigger today, to be honest, and we're still going to have to cut it off early. But I think it's a really, really nice setup. It is what we've been waiting for a while, so it does seem a bit of a shame to kind of disregard it because of the time of the week when we've still got a good sort of 20. Well, let's say I've got 24 hours, but you guys have got 48 hours to go, and I can just let that do its thing. Okay, pound against the Swiss. We did have a second attempt on this one, guys, but I want you to remove that. So if you do have the pending order open for pound Swiss, please remove that pound Swiss pending order, as we have now officially broken free of the current 15-minute trend to the downside, and it does look as though we are starting to form a new directional change in this trend. We've got the low 1, low 2, low 3, low 4. If I just have my ascending level there, you can see that kind of starting to take place here a little bit. So that one's going to be gone. Pound against the yen. So also, guys, I didn't give you a heads up on this one because of the trading margins. So that's 1 o'clock in the morning, never mind that. But we did end up pushing into liquidity as per our plan. Okay, we were looking at this, weren't we? Right, so this is as per our trading plan, except now our trading margins have significantly changed. Because if we get the breaker structure now, which is, let's be fair, it's probably going to be about there. We've already had a fake out of it once, which doesn't fill me with a great deal of confidence. But if we go for that breaker structure point, the risk reward ratio on this one is really skew-if. So we will be able to make it work with a stop loss at around this area and maybe look at that 1 to 2.5. There's nothing wrong with that at all. It's just the nature of where that stop loss is. Yes, this is a nice level of liquidity. We've seen the market bottoming out on this quite a few times. But really, the main level is the big one above. This is the level of liquidity, right? That is where the money is. This is a breaker structure element, absolutely fine. But this is where the money is. So if I'm thinking about weighing up the level, the quality of the defense that we have for taking this order, it's not hugely confidence boosting. So I mean, the reason I like it is the same reason I've always liked this one. It's the idea of trading away from the institutional liquidity, right? So we have that weight behind us. If the market does break structure, then I believe we probably will end up going down to this ascending level. The stop loss just gives me cold feet. That being said, I am going to stick to the trading plan on this one. So we've been waiting for this one to trigger for a fair while. I mean, a couple of days now. And it has pretty much done 2 of the 3 entry criteria so far. So the pending order officially is going to be for an entry at 194.774. A stop loss at the 50% point between these two zones at 194.945. And the target profit is going to have to be dynamic. So to begin with, you're going to be looking at a target profit of around 194.35. But if the market just drops down, you do have the capacity to bring that that target profit down to 194.244. If you're on the ball with it, you can let it set and forget at that 194.3, whatever it was, to get down to that ascending level. The other thing, which isn't so great, is if the market takes a while to get down there, you're going to be reducing that target profit because the price action has to hit that. And when it hits that, that's it. The trade's over. Now, I believe you can add an alert on the trend line. Okay, so you add alert, and then the alert goes once the bar is hit, or whatever, once it closes over, however you want to set that up. And you can set the alert so it triggers when this is hit. and then that would be your signal to go to your broker, get out of the position at whatever risk reward ratio you had in place. So you do have some options there. But to begin with, we're just going to keep it real simple. Go for a 1 to 2.4 on that one, which seems the most likely outcome at this stage. I think probably looking at that one being like this, 194, 360, call it, for the TP, and we'll go from there. And this is only a shorts now. And we can remove that long because that never triggered. Okay, NZD CAD. No, still not a huge fan, to be honest. NZD Swift's move was actually okay. We did take a loss on this one, by the way, guys. This was a trade idea that we took yesterday together, thinking that we were going to come down to this point in liquidity before getting the price action pullback. And in actual fact, we took the trade right at the inflection point. So we took the trade and then it literally reversed on us straight away. A bit unfortunate considering there's such a massive daily level just below. But, you know, it's fine. We did get the break close retest. We got this really nice run to the upside. That was actually a really nice little move there on the NZD Swiss. There's nothing more I'm going to do on it this week though, team, because I've incurred 2 losses on the trot on the NZD Swiss, so I'm just going to let it run its course. What I really want is to buy it from 51.80. That's what I really want. That's where the money is. So if I can get involved in an early bird trade out of the liquidity, maybe something like this, for example, at 51 or maybe 52, let's say 52 on the dot, you know, then we can be looking at riding the position right the way back up to 52.80, something like that. Nothing to be said on the NJ. NZD USD has been really, really good. There's been several opportunities that we've had in this one over time, but right now, not so hot. I want to see what the CPI comes out with, and then I'll take another view on that one. Obviously, we're already in the USD CAD. Don't need to cover that one. I don't think... Oh, USD China, that's moving, isn't it? That's looking pretty good. So, USD China... Looking at the high here, obviously I don't want to be looking at any trade ideas just yet because of this afternoon's catalyst. So we'll wait for that one, but I do want to revisit that because that looks really nice. USD against the Japanese yen. No, nothing to be said on that one. Right, and then, of course, we had the European Open this morning. European Open this morning, it wasn't really absolutely fantastic. It looks like it in hindsight, but in actual fact this move here was all actually taking place before the open. So the open itself was from this candle, so we had this little move, and that's what we've had so far. So it's not been superb. Looking at the UK FTSE, it's probably a bit better. Yeah, so UK FTSE did have a nice move. I did not get a single tick out of this one. Haven't even traded it, so that's on me. Looking at the 1 minute time frame on this UK FTSE though, guys, I must admit I really do like the idea of a long in the FTSE up to this level here, and we have already had the breaker structure for this. We just need to make sure that we're not being a bit crazy here. So that's a nice breaker structure. Inflection, retest, rebound. So that's a decent inflection point. We have a TRF, don't we? TRF situated at about this area in here. Oh, come on. There we go. Yeah, so TRF situated about there. Don't need to worry about that though, I don't think. So yeah, so I'm going to say, yeah, so we're getting the retest right now. That's perfect. I'm going to say that we look at a long in the UK FTSE this morning, I think. Yeah, because that's about a 50% pullback as well, isn't it? So I'm quite liking that one. We're trading away from big liquidity. We're looking at a fair size price action pullback. We've got the counter trend breaker structure taking place. Yeah, I'm going for it. Good. There we go. Pop. 8236.6. Okay. 0.6. So that's a 1 to 2.07, yielding a 1 to 0.52 return. It might be a nice little morning trade. It could be a loss, who knows? But there we go. I think it makes perfect sense. Yeah, it looks really nice. We've got TRF. Saying that, we've got TRF at the price line, but I don't think it's going to be the one in accordance with where we are on the daily. Let's have a look on that daily. Yeah. Oh, yeah. This is almost like a breakout, fake out, then a break back above, retest the liquidity before it pushes back up to the highs there. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see. All right, guys. Well, yeah, that's that. I'm not gonna do anything else in the European session there. I will live and die by my trade, and we'll see how we fare. So. Yeah, so we'll see how we get on. And that's it. That's it, basically, team. We're going to cover the US stocks this afternoon for our CPI. I'll be back at 1:20, and I hope to see you then. So, you guys got any questions or anything? You're pretty clear on where we stand at the moment? Yeah, good. Alrighty, awesome. Alright, team. Well, have a good one. Take care of yourselves out there. I'm going to be here all day, so any questions or anything, please feel free to have a chit chat. And yeah, I look forward to catching up with you this afternoon at 1:20 for the CPI. So take care, team, and I'll see you then. Cheers. Bye-bye.